Happy Wednesday, everybody. Brian Therrien here from the Disability Digest. Listen, folks, I thank you for joining our YouTube live event on this Wednesday and finding the location. We've had technical difficulties for the last 2 weeks, which really annoy me, but we're here, we're live, and we look forward to hanging out with you. And we have Mr. Philip Price with us and Miss Ivy here today.
Good day, everybody.
Yes. Yes. So Ivy, did you find the link? Or actually I put it in the YouTube.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
do
good
this.
now.
All right, I'll put it in here so we can spread it around. Folks, if you know of anybody else that would like to join this, just take the link and share it with them as we get started here today. So a few things I want to cover today. I want to talk about some data that was released by Social Security that shows what conditions are most commonly approved for disability benefits. So I'm going to talk about that for a minute, and that's going to be relative to really anybody that is maybe going through the approval process, or even if you're already approved, there'll be a learning piece there. Then we want to spend some time answering some questions. Philip Price, who is here today, runs probably the most popular Facebook group that's out there on YouTube, helping people get and keep their benefits. So he's put together some questions, and then Ivy will monitor the chat. That's the plan. So if you have a question, you're welcome to type it in here, and we will get started. All right. So first things first, if you're new here, you haven't been here in a while, welcome. Our goal here at the Disability Digest is to be your trusted resource for information in and around the Social Security disability benefit process. And that could be the work that we do to help people get approved fast, hopefully, or helping you understand what you need to do to keep your benefits or maximize your benefits. So I hope you enjoy the show. And if you do, we encourage you to subscribe. And we'll give you some directions at the end where you can learn more about the work that we do and get additional resources for no cost. All right. Okay. Gosh, I feel like I haven't done this in a while. What do I do next? Are we done?
We
No.
made it. We got past the 2-second mark.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I have some info to share with you. Let me put this down here and go over here. We'll open the phone lines up in a few minutes. But this is information from Social Security that is actually from a report that they put out. It's on page 58, and it's in the description of this event, so you can check out the real data there. But I put it in here so I could make it more visible. That's what I want to say, and get my point across. And to preface this, one of the questions that we're commonly asked as advocates and helping people is, I have XYZ condition, fill in the blanks. Does my condition qualify for disability? Right. So that's what has given me the initiative to do this. So this is a report from Social Security that has a list of conditions that are the top conditions that are approved for Social Security disability benefits. And on this report right here, you'll see all of the numbers on page 58, but I just highlighted some of the top ones. And of course, they're not in numerical order because the first one I'm going to cover is number 19, and it's musculoskeletal, which 2.7 million people are on disability benefits as a result of a muscular skeletal issue. And what that is anything to do with your back down through your spine. So it could be like, degenerative disc disease or back fusion or anything of that nature. So 2.7 million. So that's the most common way that people are getting their benefits approved. And then the next is like brain health challenges, which is depression, bipolar, or related issues like PTSD would fall into that. There's a million of those. So now there might be some of you out there that are going through the approval process that have these conditions, and that doesn't, what I'm sharing with you doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get approved or that you will continue to keep your benefits. So that's what I want to point out next. So there's some key components to the disability approval process and your ability to keep them that pertain to any of these. Like, and what it is this. Social Security disability is looking that you have conditions that are diagnosed. So if you've got a musculoskeletal issue and it's not diagnosed, or you haven't had any like MRIs or imaging that would actually show that you had a back fusion, then that's going to create some challenges for that condition. So you have conditions that are diagnosed. Those are the first ones. And then they're treated on a consistent basis, in line with what the doctor and your medical team has for treatment. So that's the next step. And then despite those, the diagnosis, treated by a doctor, and they have limitations. And the limitations are, for musculoskeletal, for example, is you're not able to sit for more than 15 minutes and you're not able to stand for more than 20 minutes. But those limitations are evident in your medical evidence, so that Social Security can see that, yeah, you have the diagnosis, yes, you're treated, and you have the limitations. So those, some of you, if you've been around here for a while, might be saying, this guy keeps saying the same thing over and over and over again. Well, yeah, I do, because it is what's going to get you your benefits and keep you your benefits if you execute in and around all of these aspects of it. So for example, like I said, if you've got a musculoskeletal issue and you don't have any imaging that can show it, then it's going to make it more difficult for you to meet the criteria for disability. So point is, these are the common conditions, but you still can get approved for other conditions, most conditions, as long as they meet the general criteria as well as keep your benefits. All right. So next, for those of you that are just joining us, thank you for coming in and joining the live show today. We're going to take some individual questions in a few moments as I see that they're pouring in here. But I know, as I mentioned, Philip has a very active Facebook group, maybe the most popular on the planet for helping people getting and keeping their benefits. And he's collected some questions, and I hope they're ones that I can answer, that he's want to just present for a learning curve for everybody out there. So Philip, hit me. What do you got?
Ready?
Think so.
All right, this one's from Jerica. Has anyone else gotten a denial on SSI, but the SSDI part shows still processing on stage 4? What does this mean?
Okay, so there's the number one thing that it could mean in my experience is this. If you applied for disability and selected I want to apply for Social Security disability and SSI, but your assets are over the allowed amount, then your application went through the system and they flagged it and they said, this person doesn't qualify because of the asset limit. So they're still evaluating your Social Security disability because they're looking at the medical component of that. That would be that's my hunch. That's my answer that I'm going with. Ivy, you have anything to add to this? You think any other
Yes, Brian,
variables?
you're right.
Okay.
Social Security is usually processing both of these benefits to see if member qualifies for SSI and or SSDI. So
Mhm.
if the SSI part is denied, that only means that they're not technically qualified for the assets
Hmm.
part. So the disability insurance benefit part would still be pending because that's gonna be the last resort or
Okay.
process.
Just a heads up for you folks out there that are maybe if you haven't applied yet, I would take the time to understand, and we can help you do that here at the Disability Digest. If you actually meet the benchmark asset level to apply and get SSI, because SSI is a needs-based program. Social Security Disability is based on your work history. If you don't qualify, and we can help you understand that, and you don't check the box for SSI, it can speed up your application. You're asking Social Security to evaluate both things, and it slows it down in the approval process, just my experience. And then once you get approved, it definitely, if you qualify for both, it will definitely slow down your payment, but they're going to knock it out ideally in advance. So if you go forward and you do apply for both and you get both, it will delay likely your back benefits getting paid, but there's nothing you can do to avoid that. So, all right, Philip, what's next?
Stephen asked, I'm currently on disability adult child benefits. They seem to have the same rules that SSDI has regarding work. My next CDR is in 2028. If I make under SGA and report my earnings, will I be okay on my CDR? I'm working 25 hours a week.
Well, the only thing I can speak to on this is if I don't know the age of this person, but I'm just going to address this as though this is an adult, somebody that's over, like, say, 21. And which would mean that you're a Social Security disability recipient, and the SGA rules are as follows: that you are working less than 20 hours a week, which this individual is not. I heard 25, right, Philip?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want to be in compliance, you need to drop your hours. And then your earnings need to be within the allowed amount, which is the SGA right now is $1,110 a month, but ideally 20% below that. If you are in adherence to those two, then I'm not saying you won't have a CDR, but you would have less challenges in a CDR environment. The only exception to that is that if you are working the 25 hours a week, but your condition requires you to work 25 hours a week to do what would take an able-bodied person, 15 hours a week, and you can prove that with reasonable accommodations and other things that have been provided you, that is a possible out at the when you're reviewed, but I wouldn't rely on that.
Oh, and he mentioned a little further down he's blind, so
Okay, all right, well,
he's going to be
yeah,
able to earn a little. His max is going to be, I think it's 2190 for blind.
yeah, okay, that's good to know. All right, so my whole rant would be applicable to somebody that's non-blind and on
Yeah.
disability. Yeah.
All right. Keep losing it here. Bear with me a minute.
Good.
I'm having technical difficulties.
No worries. And for those of you that are joining out there, thanks for joining. We are going to answer some of the questions in chat in a few minutes. Ivy will address those.
There's a question here, Brian, from our YouTube chat. I started collecting SSDI January 2022. Why would SSA send me a BK 820 form wanting information about money I earned in 2019 to 2021? They should check that before I got approved, right?
Not necessarily. They might be thinking that I don't know when your onset date was, that possibly they paid you back benefits that they shouldn't have. Yeah. So, yeah, fill it out. This is my advice. Fill it out as best you can, as truthfully as possible, and get it back in a timely manner. Here's the good news. If they did do that and it's an overpayment, which is what that would be categorized as, then if you want to fight it or dispute it, it's something we can help you here at the Disability Digest, possibly. But there's some new rules in place by the Commissioner Martin O'Malley that say that the most that you would possibly have to pay back on an overpayment would be 10% of your check a month, which it used to be that they'd say, okay, if you were overpaid like $15,000, they want it all back in 30 days. So they've gotten the nastiness out of that.
Yeah,
All right.
here's I was recently diagnosed with ALS, but wanted to continue working. I have completed FMLA paperwork and wondering if I can get paid through state disability on the days I struggle and can't make it to work.
California, is this
California.
California?
Yeah.
I don't know about getting paid on a daily basis. I do know this about the state of California, but in my opinion, they have one of the best programs where you have an allocated bucket of money that you can withdraw as you need to based on the disability criteria. So it is a great tool to use to help you bridge the gap and survive the wait. I don't know if you can dial it in on a daily basis, say, listen, I didn't work last Thursday, I'd like some money for that. That I don't know. You'd have to inquire locally about that.
All right, here's one I hope you can answer. It says, what happens when you can't do any test to show what's going on? I'm
Yeah.
assuming they're asking if there's no test to show what your diagnosis is, what do you do?
Right. Well, this is a really good question, and this can cover a variety of conditions. I'll use like lupus or fibromyalgia or other autoimmune conditions where people will commonly look fine, but they feel terrible, right?
Yeah.
So this is goes back to the like what I consider the fundamentals of your doctor-patient relationship, and communicating to your doctor the limitations that you have. Just as I mentioned at the top of the presentation, you have a diagnosis, which you do. Sounds like there's something going on there, but you can't see it. And it's being treated, however it's being treated, and then you communicate the limitations to your doctor, whatever those might be, fatigue or abdominal pain. I'm just making this up. And how that impacts your ability to work. Like if you have severe abdominal pain and you're curled up in a ball in the bed, like 2 hours a day, 3 days a week, then it's really going to be difficult for you to work. So that information needs to get into your medical records so that your doctor is aware of it and your doctor is treating you to get you to a situation where maybe it's only 45 minutes, 3 days a week, or maybe you eliminate it. But still, the point is that you're being treated for it. So that's the strategy. You can look at this also as people that have like brain health conditions like PTSD or depression or like anxiety or bipolar. Visually, you don't see those, but they need to be documented. Great question.
Yeah, that's like a same question from our audience here on YouTube. Like, what about somatic symptom disorder on top of the muscularly skeletal issue? So I guess since it's somatic, it's like mental health issue as well. That would apply, Ryan.
Um, I'm not familiar with somatic. I'm just getting a quick on it. Okay, right. Yeah, okay. So I'm just looking it up online. No, for sure. I would concur with that. Yeah. The, again, my recurring message is understand your doctor-patient relationship. And when you're in this process, getting or keeping your benefits, it's different than you have, known. Most people just go, show up, great doc, I'm glad I'm doing fine, and leave. All right. Who's next?
Yeah,
Or-
there's another one, Brian. I'm 60 and just received disability and did not realize that you no longer get Medicare until you reach 62. Any healthcare suggestions?
I don't have healthcare suggestions in the private sector because there's so many variables. I don't know where you are or what other conditions you have. So that's difficult. But I mean, what some people do, if they have a spouse, they'll stay on their insurance or they'll look at the exchange. But I also want to make sure that you and others understand when your Medicare eligibility starts as a disability recipient. And it's not the age of 62. When you look at your disability award letter, there's two dates on the top, the date that you were found disabled and the date that you're entitled to benefits. The date that you are entitled to benefits is a month. Let's say it's May. Let's say it's right now, May of 2024. If that was the case, it would be a full 48 months from right now. But if your entitlement date was, say, 20 months ago, and you're just receiving your award letter now, which is highly possible because of all the delays or your case went to a hearing, then you would be Medicare eligible in just 4 months. So make sure you have your date right, and then plan around that. That's something that we can help you out here with the Disability Digest. You can, if you're a member, you can request a benefit review, and we review all of your benefits to see where there may be areas of opportunity for you, but we can help you understand your award letter, what your options are when you become Medicare eligible. No charge, just like your membership. So service that we provide. Okay.
Got one here. Would you recommend that clients call DDS every now and then to check on their claim status and even ask for any updates? Or is this something that might be discouraged unless you haven't heard anything after a long time?
Mm. Well, I would have to zero in on the now and again piece. I don't know if now and again is like every 4 hours or every 4 months, right? So I do encourage people to be polite and persistent throughout the process. But that being said, especially if you're managing your own case, like you're representing yourself, hopefully you're using the disability approval course so you know what to do that we provide, then yes, you should call your case manager. And the suggested approach that we communicate and teach is one that is like, hey, listen, I just want to check in. I know my case is at 75%. I want to see if there's like anything else that you're missing or that we could provide that could help you get this from 75% to 100% so that we can get a decision. That approach is definitely recommended to do. And if you have a disability representative, that's what they should be doing for you. But doing that every day is going to annoy them, Social Security, and that's what you don't want to do because your case manager is your friend, right? You don't want to tick them off. So you have to balance that out. Maybe it's once every 30 days or 45 days. There's long stretches of period of time when it's just your case is just in the backlog. So
Yeah, I agree with you, Brian. There are also operators that assist adjudicators. So if
Mm-hmm.
you see on your, like, in the letter you're receiving from Social Security, the general line is the line that you can call the office that handles your cases, and then there are operators that has access to the status of your case. They can give you information on what are the missing pieces in your documents or records, and if there are something pending. So this is just a tip. You can call the general line and speak to the operators versus keep on reaching out the adjudicators, because sometimes it gets on their nerve. I mean,
Right.
they don't like being called every now and then.
Right. And they're so understaffed right now. It's a challenge. That's a good point. One other layer I'll put on this, if you're using a disability representative, like I'll use, we here at the Disability Digest partner with the maximum of 20 people a month to help them get their benefits approved as a representative. And one of the benefits that we provide in the process is we actually can see the case file. So you have a view that just shows basically a percentage, but as a disability representative, some of the technology that's in place now is we can look in there and we can see what's been going on. Like if there hasn't been any movement in 3 months, we could see that. If, for example, you have 5 doctors that have been submitted with your initial application, but they only have the medical records for 3 of them and 2 are outstanding, we know that that's an area that needs to be addressed. So if you're using a representative or considering using a representative, this is one of the tools that they have as far as monitoring the case, what is the necessary evidence, how much is in there, how much, what needs to be put in to make it all work.
Okay. So question from Janet Garcia. Can I apply for SSI to supplement my household expenses if I am receiving survivor's benefits and I'm on the appeals process of being denied SSDI?
It really depends on your asset limit. Like if you're receiving survivor's benefit and your check is over, this is just very general statement, your check is over $1,500 a month, that's going to put you over the SSI threshold. So, I mean, there's no harm in applying, but that's some general guidelines for you.
Then
All
another
right.
one, could you in time qualify for SSI when you have no money left?
Oh, okay. So if this is a situation where somebody's going through the disability approval process, financial status changes, is it something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, then that'd be a yes, for sure. That's what the program is for. So let's say you enter the process of applying for disability and you've got $20,000 in your 401k and that pushes you over the asset limit. But you're spending that down to survive the wait, and now you're down to like $1,000. Well, yeah, you can apply for SSI, and as you've spent down your money and you're now within the threshold for sure. But that'd be a good strategy. All right, for those of you that are out there, if you have any other questions that you would like to submit, we would be glad to answer those at this time. Anything else before we get close to wrapping up here?
Yeah, there's a question, another one, Brian, from Marisol Salich. Do I have to disclose to SSDI that I also receiving my pension?
Um, to SSI, yes, you do, because it's going to be assets and resources. If it's Social Security disability, other income like that would not impact it. Good. I don't know how we get the hearts that are like rising up on our YouTube live, but they're pretty
That's
cool.
me, Ryan. I'm
Oh, you're
pressing.
doing that? Oh,
Yeah.
I see you press the heart there. Like, can you change it to like a dollar sign for to send?
No, there's no other icons available. Just 100, a haha,
All right,
congratulations.
all right. I'm new here. I'm just learning, but thanks for sharing that. Cool, good. All right. Well, listen, that's all the questions we have for the day. We're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for coming out. It just looks like there's 70 people out there watching. This is fantastic. I appreciate your time and attention. It's an honor to have this chance to come out and answer your questions. I hope we provide some value in it. And we are committed to doing these ongoing events. We hope to continue to smooth out our technology glitches. And thank you for finding us on YouTube. For those of you that are new here or we haven't heard from in a while, there's over 1,200 videos on our YouTube channel. We encourage you to go have a look and see if there's information out there that you can find that would help you. But I do want to make it very clear to you the very best way that we can help you and actually save you time of going around and looking at all the videos, because some may not be relevant or outdated, is to join us as a member. And up on the screen right now is the Disability Digest homepage. And I say that because when you come and click the free membership button and fill out your profile, there's no charge for your membership. And by answering a few questions that takes less than 2 minutes, it gives us a better idea of where you're at in the process. Like maybe you're just getting started and you haven't applied, or perhaps you've applied and recently been approved, or you've been approved for a while. That information allows us to get you what is going to be relevant for you to help you out. Not only the information, there's support groups, there's advocates here that you can engage with via chat, sometimes via phone. So that's really the best way that we can help you. And it's no charge because we make our money through ads and services that we provide. Like we're in the partnership program with YouTube, where there's some advertisements posted on these events and other videos. And we provide services to you that you can choose to use or not use. But that allows us to keep the membership, at absolutely no charge and make a difference. So hopefully you'll consider that if you haven't already. Ivy, Philip, thank you so much for your contribution today and making this event a success, I hope. And for all of you out there, once again, thank you. Please join us again next week. We'll be back for our next live event. Make it a great day, everybody. Be well.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. See you on